Dean Obeidallah. There he is. Hi, my friend. Thank you
Hello, my friend.
doing this. I know you have a very busy day. You're doing all kinds of interviews on Substack, on Sirius. Do the same people that join you on Substack, are they then the guests on the Sirius show as well? Or are you doing
in general, if I record it on Substack and it goes well and the quality of the audio has gotten better, then I can play it on this show. So in general, yes, but I only do one Substack live a week. That's it. I limit it to that. Just too busy with other stuff.
Fair enough. I just watched your interview with V Spahar. Is that your name? She's great.
Sphere.
I was on your show with her once on panel, but I just that one-on-one interview it was great.
There's no pronoun. It's they. Not to get into it.
No.
All right.
I'll get it right.
This is because I want V to know that I'm standing up for V. That's all. Go right ahead. It didn't come from militia. It didn't come from Matt. Even it feels weird to even say it to people, but
I don't people. I'll call anybody with my thing with pronouns. I'll call you whatever you want to call. Whatever you want to be called, I'll try to do it. Don't get mad at me if I mess up. Right. No, I'm trying. And I don't also think I need to tell you mine. Like, I don't care what you call me. Call me she. I don't care. It's hilarious. Whatever you want.
Did you ever, a friend, it's different, of course, than V, but I know one person now who I knew as a guy who then transitioned and now is a woman. And I never knew someone. And it's weird in my brain to read, because I knew the person for 20 years. And it was a person who was a writer at Saturday Night Live when I worked at Saturday Night Live in production. And we had kept in touch a little bit. And then now, the transition. So you're like, you want to be respectful at all times. And it's very, like, we want to do the right thing. That's what's interesting about it. Like,
I've never known. I
always want to help people.
Yeah, of course. It shouldn't be that controversial. I've never known. I know a lot of people who are trans, identify as trans, but I didn't know them before they transitioned. Right. I know a lot of people who are gay who used to be straight. I know a lot of them.
Really?
Now a few.
I know people who were funny at one time, but they're not funny anymore. I don't know. They might host a show called Stand Up with
transitioned into not
formerly Pete Dominic, the guy formerly known as the comedian Pete Dominic.
When I went from just hosting the comedy show at Sirius to hosting, the political show, I'll just never forget Jim Brewer attacking me. He's like, "Oh, now you're a political comedy? Y'all serious? Now you're quitting comedy?" And I was just like so hurt by it at the time.
Wow, that's weird at Jim. And then he became political. That's the irony. Not a political comic, but he became political.
Yeah, exactly. He was so mean to me. He was always so mean. A lot of those guys that were older than me at Sirius were always mean to me. I never bothered me because I always felt bad for them. I was like, "Why are you so mean? You don't have to be mean. Still trying to haze me, really?"
I guess that was part of it, right? That was the thing. Like people like Rich Voss and others, it didn't matter how long I did comedy. I was always, get me a cup of coffee. Like,
I want to ask you, a cup of coffee. It's funny. I have in my notes, Rich Voss, Judy Gold, because I wanted to ask you just about how the Arab-Israeli conflict, the genocide in Gaza has divided the comedy community. Like Judy used to be one of my closest friends, Judy Gold, and I was always really friendly with Rich Voss. I haven't talked to either of them in a long time, but I've seen their posts, and their posts seem to be basically like, if you don't support Israel fully, then you're not even my friend anymore. Like really divisive kinds of things I have felt. Have you noticed that in the comedy community?
I'm consistent. I didn't like Rich Voss before. I don't like Rich Voss now. Nothing. We were never like buddies. I only saw him at the clubs and we would talk here and there. Bonnie's wife was very nice. I used to talk to Bonnie.
Love Bonnie. Yeah.
But so Judy used to come on more. And I even talked to her, if somebody is Jewish and they're very supportive of Israel, I completely understand it. It might be in a way that's painful for me to see as being a Palestinian heritage. I understand it. It's the people who are not Jewish who are out there calling you pro-Hamas if you talk about Palestinian humanity and demonizing you. To them, it's a political game. The people who are Jewish, it's very personal. And for people who are Palestinian, it's very personal. And then you get beyond that, people just who are humanity, to them it means something. It's very important as well. Don't get me wrong, but I'm saying I've always had a great deal of grace for people who are Jewish, the Jewish people have been through horrific things through time. I mean, horrific. And I understand the desire to have a homeland. The question is, at what price to the Christians and Muslims who live there? Like, at what point do you go like, this is not consistent with my values and my faith and what I want, and it's not a safe homeland. It's so. That's the line. Like, where do the people break from that? But yeah, it is. It can be tense and stuff. Judy Gold, I've liked a great deal. I'm still going to always like her, even if we disagree on the Middle East. But it's harder to have any conversation about the Middle East. I just can't do it.
Let's pick up where we are right now with the Middle East. I definitely want to talk to you about it. You've never been shy talking about it, and certainly not even around October 7th. I think you've handled it really well on the air, as well as you can. I know you've been attacked in a lot of different ways and so on, but I wonder where we're at right now and what, if anything, has changed. It seems like there is some threshold that people will allow for bombing Palestinians. They've got hostages, and you want to make the argument even that their kids are going to grow up to be terrorists or something, like some horrific arguments like that. I wonder if starving children is something different, if that crosses a different threshold, if more people are paying attention because you see kids' bodies and you hear from physicians and aid groups. I wonder if the starvation strategy has changed anything.
I think it certainly has. Look at France is going to recognize Palestine as a state. They weren't going to do before. England is saying, if you continue down this path, Netanyahu, we're going to recognize Palestine as a state. Canada said they're going to recognize Palestine as a state. Yeah. We've seen even a few Republicans, including Donald Trump, who I despise, say the kids are starving. You can't fake it. I've seen the images. Marjorie Taylor Greene calling it a genocide. I don't like Marjorie Taylor Greene in any way. I'm just saying it's breaking through because you see images of children dying. Experts right now are saying, and I was just reading before we came on, that famine experts, human rights experts are saying this is getting to what happened like in Ethiopia. Like it's getting to that level of desperation and death that's happening. And it's all man-made. This is not because of climate. This is not because of lack of wherewithal to have food delivered. It's because Netanyahu, they made a plan. It's called the general's plan. People can Google it. That's the actual term. The general said, let's starve Hamas so they surrender. But the result is they are willing to sacrifice all the other Palestinian Christians and Muslims and children and women who were there to starve Hamas. This is barbaric. Maybe in the time of sieges of like in the Middle Ages or something, that would be acceptable war tactics. It's not today. It's war crimes. There's no doubt.
What do you say to people when they say, well, if they would just release the hostages, everything would be okay? What do you say? Like, that's not it wouldn't be, and we know it. What do you say? Well, I wonder what your answer to that is.
I say pass generally. I go pass, and they go, what? I go, I pass. That's it. Like, you can't pass. I'm like, you can't tell me what to say. I pass. I move on to the next question. Let's go to the bonus round right now. Can we?
I don't think that's an answer.
No, that's not my answer. My answer is, look, not many people say that to me. I guess they know my background and how outspoken. It would make no sense. It's not like on October 6, 2023, it wasn't an open air prison in Gaza. Right. And it wasn't a killing field. It was, and the people were struggling and they couldn't even just daring to dream was cruel. Now, the goals of getting rid of Hamas and releasing the hostages are gone. That could have happened already. There was a deal reached before Trump got sworn in, and Netanyahu breached the deal. And I spoke to a father, an Israeli father who's Jewish, whose son is in the IDF, who was a hostage. And he came on my show to slam Netanyahu. He said, because he breached the deal and violated, my son's not home. So his son and about 20 other people are still there because Netanyahu wanted to prolong the war. So it wasn't about releasing. And at this point, the goal is no longer releasing the hostage. The goal is driving the Palestinians, the Christians and Muslims out of there and turning it into essentially a Jewish-only settlement like you have in the West Bank, the whole Gaza. That's the real goal. That's the stated goal of the Israeli government right now.
What do you say when I heard Mandy Patinkin so articulately, passionately talk about that Israel's genocide, whatever you want to call it, whatever's happening, so people don't get hung up on words, but it is creating anti-Semitism against the Jewish diaspora around the world. I have a hard time with that because it shouldn't create anti-Semitism, but people assume that if you're Jewish, you support what Israel's doing, and therefore I don't like you, or I should even kill you in the most extreme examples that we've seen. So what do you say about that it's creating anti-Semitism around the world? I
don't know if it's creating anti-Semitism. I do know that there's
that's what he said. That's what Mandy said.
So right. I'm not disagreeing with Mandy. I mean, I'm saying there could have been anti-Semitism there before. I don't know. What I will know is talking to people like Peter Beinart, who's probably on the same page as Mandy, and I know Peter is a friend of mine. We've had this very conversation, where the media will say it's the Jewish state, and the Jewish state is doing this, and the Jewish state is doing that. And what happens a lot is when you criticize Israel policy, the policy of a government, there are defenders who go, oh, you're being anti-Jewish, you're being anti-Semitic. So it's been conflated by others. And the result is, so now you go, look, they're starving. The Israeli military bombed a Catholic church last week, killing 3 people sheltering, Christians sheltering, and wounding the parish priest. And that's the fact. And the truth is Netanyahu did not even acknowledge it until, of all people, Trump called up to criticize him for it. And then it was a mistake. We're looking into it. That's not the first time they bombed the Catholic church. People have, I think we're getting to a point where you can have a more open conversation about Israel. I think the next point is the real conversation about the right-wing administration that runs Israel is a Jewish supremacist administration, the same way of white supremacists. They do not view Christians and Muslims as the same level. We are inferior. That is not a mainstream Jewish view. That's not a mainstream Israeli view. That's the view of Ben Gvir, Smotrich, Netanyahu, and the other right-wing people. By the way, people don't get that. We are inferior.
That creates anti-Semitism, and more importantly, I think it creates anti-religion. I don't like that. It makes me mad at your religion if you think because you identify as this that you are better than me or anyone else for being religious or not. Like, do whatever you want, but you're not better. I mean, I'm better because you're
the best. Pete's the best. We know it's stand up with the best. Pete Dominic. That's the
not religious anymore. You know, I mean,
you're not.
No, I haven't been. No, I grew up Catholic. I did the whole confirmation thing. But then I listened to George Carlin tape, and I was like, "What are we doing?" Can't believe I was buying all that shit.
Religion can be good or bad for everyone, right? It can justify horrible things. There are racial supremacists in America, white supremacists that are part of this administration.
No.
One just got confirmed to be head of national terrorism and counterterrorism. And he's a guy who buddied up with Nick Fuentes and his other stuff. And you're wow, that's crazy, right? That's the world we live in. Donald Trump's policies, anti-DEI, are white supremacist dreams come to power. So we understand that's what they're about. They're not going to, it doesn't mean they're going to go kill you because you're of a certain skin color or a certain religion. They just don't view you as the same. That's why everyone in America of color who is successful, the right calls them DEI hires. That's what they call them, right? Because they could never have gotten there because a white man is inherently superior. So anyone of color, you've had to be helped by some policy. That's the white supremacist myth that they peg on.
I do think Stephen A. is a diversity hire, is a DEI hire.
Who is?
Stephen A. He's only famous because white people love him. I posted something about Stephen A. Smith. I was like, he's for white people, right? And like just Twitter, whatever, like just tons of black people like, yes. Yeah.
Oh, that's what they said. That's interesting. It's interesting when you hear from within the black community, people that we know. And like Joy Reid would tell me, right? And others would tell him like, okay, now I get it. I didn't know. I'm like, all right.
I always check in with black folks like off the record, like even like people like Laura Coates or Ellie Mistal or Chrissy Greer or Joy Reid. I've had plenty of conversations with her, and it's just like, no, we don't mess with that person or this person.
The person's not part of the club.
Enough about Don Lemon. I love Don. Oh, come on.
Skin folk ain't kinfolk. That's the
expression. I mean, black folks and black people have held up white supremacy. Women have held up patriarchy. I mean, it's not like you get a pass. You gotta walk the walk as well as just say things. Anyway, enough about that. Let me ask you about this whole Epstein thing. You've been covering this. And demanding prosecutions. You're saying all kinds of things. This is crazy. I don't even know where to start. I'm pretty much obsessed with it. I think the way a lot of people are. I think the best point that I've heard, can I start there? The best point I've heard is basically that Trump created all this demand. He gave them crumb after crumb after crumb. He fueled the conspiracy. And he said, well, there's going to be justice for these people. And Steve Bannon said, once we get them, everything's going to be better for everybody because they're the shadowy elites that have been controlled. They're the reason your life sucks, all this stuff. And so he led them there and they're starving for it. And then he's like, forget it. He leads them to the water and then he just moves the water. No, you can't have it. It's entirely a creation in many ways of him. And now it seems to be eating them alive. What do you make of just that point of that narrative? Do you think that's...
No, I think, look, the left is not good at creating narratives or keeping them going in the media. The reason this is going is that the right created the narrative and they're fueling it. And the guy fueling it is Donald Trump. It's the Barbra Streisand effect come to life, right in front of us where stop talking about it. Who was that girl? Yeah, she worked for me. Jeffrey Epstein stole people from me. You're like, here's another story. Here we continue on. I think a part of it too, I think you're right 100%. Created by the right. Their appetite was for this story. Pam Bondi goes in March on Sean Hannity, mocking Biden. We're going to be transparency. I just got thousands of documents. We're going to give them to you. In July, you get a memo going, you're getting zero. So that was a lack of respect. If they gave 200 documents and they go, the others are with children and stuff, well, you could have a debate. They said zero because Trump wanted this to go away. And it fueled, and I think it was really dismissive to the Trump base. And the MAGA people, a lot of them have a chip on their shoulder. They've been dismissed by the elite, like Pete Dominic, you're very elitist. Guys like you, very elitist. We talk down to them because we should.
I fly over them.
The Trump supporters said to me, you think you're better than me? I'm like, I don't think it. Like, there's no need to even say think.
By what measure am I not? I mean, go ahead. Sorry.
No, but I'm just saying, honestly, I think there's something on a human level with them. A lot of them truly, all bull aside, who have really felt society has dismissed them. The elites have taken advantage of the system. And here's Donald Trump, my champion. And Trump treated them just like the elites they hate. You're getting zero. That was disrespectful as a human being to MAGA. And I think that's what turned them. They're like, he's being a jerk to us like all the other Democrats and people with power, university professors or whatever else is. And I think it's deeper. I think it's personal that is fueling this. And also Trump's cognitive decline. He's not good at shifting the story anymore. He's just not good at it.
Oh, he's been so hard. He's really failed. He put out an actual AI of Biden being arrested. He's like, this is what it would look like, you guys. No, they didn't care. It's only gotten worse every day. And he's fueled it. He's fueled it.
I mean, his decline. Do you see? I'm not saying this because I'm partisan. I am partisan. I think his cognitive decline has become undeniable. He's 79. It's really there. He's not good at this. Not that he fell asleep yesterday, which he did. It happens. He's 79. It's a long day. He's not. In the old days, he would have never fueled his story. Yeah. He would have done something to stop it. Instead, he was like, Epstein, he did something inappropriate. Should have stopped there.
I don't know about that. I think I of course, that he's had some decline. We all do. Of course, it's a market and you could see it. But I almost wonder if you're giving him a little bit too much credit or not giving the guardrails in Trump 1 more credit. Because the reason why he didn't do and say a lot of the crazy things he's doing and saying now is because they wouldn't let him, or he couldn't get it done, or the quote deep state, the bureaucracy, the H.R. McMasters or Mike Pompeo's, maybe, I don't know, held him back somehow. And now there's none of that. There's nobody holding him back. Nobody standing up to him. As a matter of fact, it is crazy, this cartoon we're living in where it's a dear leader. I mean, when they get around him, they just have to kiss his ass. Every foreign leader just trying to negotiate with him, hates him, but tries to like butter him up. I mean, those South Africans were the most obvious ones. Like, bunch of black South Africans clearly hate the guy, but they brought like white golfers to the meeting. Like,
I give him credit.
Look at the that's crazy that you would have to do that in that way.
We don't look. This is not permanent, but right now we don't live in a democratic republic. If you believe that's defined by checks and balances as laid out in the Constitution. Right now, Congress is no check on Trump because of Republicans control it, and the Supreme Court is controlled by the GOP. There are no checks on the guy whatsoever. We have to win the House in 2026 to get back to closer to Democratic Republic. He could literally steal the tariffs that are coming in. Nothing could be done. DOJ is not going to prosecute him. The court's going to say it's an official act. He'll justify any way, and Republicans will not do a thing about it. That sounds over the top. That's literally what could happen right now. He could steal the tariff money.
Well, let me ask you about that before I let you go. We've talked about, obviously, Gaza, Epstein, not enough. But the last question is the least sexy one, which is we have been hearing about these trade talks and the tariffs and all that. And I do think that prices are going to go up on everything, but potentially dramatically. The dollar, like, it's coming. People predicted it happening faster because of the original tariffs. He tacoed and he brought them back. And so things calmed down and slowed down, but they're back. And I mean, I feel like it's inevitable. Nothing's cheaper, it would seem. Nothing, from cars to cereal or eggs. I don't think anything's really dramatically cheaper. So doesn't that matter to people in terms of turning them as much as anything else?
We're in an economic bubble. We are in a bubble. Bitcoin really defines the bubble. this is going to fall like a house of cards. And not that I wish it.
Why do you think that? I don't know. I haven't heard that.
Bitcoin has nothing. There's nothing to support it. It's not full faith and credit of the United States of America. The U.S. dollar is sliding. Bitcoin, they go, it's a hedge. It's nothing. It's literally a made-up currency.
Why, if Bitcoin crashes, then just its investors lose.
The rest down. Well, people use their Bitcoin money to buy stocks, to buy homes, to buy other things. If the bottom falls out on that, just like the housing bubble, if you want to know where the next big bubble is, like the housing bubble with the Great Recession, look at crypto. But it's not just that. You're absolutely right. Today, there was new inflation numbers. It was slightly higher. It keeps getting slightly higher. And what Trump has done now, the new tariff that he wants everywhere, except for a few places, 15%. The companies can't absorb 15%. We have to pay some of it. Maybe 8, maybe 9%, maybe 6%, whatever it is. Prices are going to keep going up.
They're holding back on passing that on.
It's going to happen.
There's a word that economists are using called sneakflation. They're just holding on to it. They're slowly leaking it in. And in the live chat, I see our friend Kim Nyborg said, I just bought 10 tubes of ground beef for $60. Oof. And all my reaction is, why are you buying tubes of ground beef? Anyone? Why 10? What do you have, a kennel?
And did you just post it to resell it? Is this like eBay for meat? Your show, not meat show.
Come on and sell what you're not using that you bought. Your 10 tubes.
There's a guy on my corner. I walk by. I got ground beef. I'm like, really, ground beef? Ground beef? What's ground beef? I'm like, weren't you selling eggs last year? Eggs are gone. Eggs are done. Ground beef. Top loin. You want top loin? I got top loin. It's got the jacket with all the
guys. We gotta talk more. I love talking to you. I love being on your show. And I always love talking to you. I know you got a very busy day, so I'll let you go. But thank you very much for joining me. Who's on the show tonight? You gonna plug it or anything else besides your Substack?
I have Hand Ayub, my fiance, because she's doing a one-person show that opens in San Francisco this Saturday at Z Space about being a Palestinian born in Israel. So she's on. Hani Amaldoun, he's lost 100 family members in Gaza. He does a lot. I know, literally 100. His brother was one of the famous chefs who worked in the soup kitchen. He was killed in Gaza. So he's on to talk about his work with the UN Relief Works Agency and vSphere. That was the thing that you watched. That was recorded.
A really good interview on Epstein. Yeah, that'll be. People should definitely watch that now on Substack or later.
Please watch. I'm needy. I am needier than Pete. So please watch me.
Yeah. Well, nobody ever doubted that. Dean, thank you. I love you and everyone. I appreciate you. There he goes, everybody. There goes Dean Obeidallah. And okay, Kim, I see. You bought a 10-pound tube of ground beef. My mic just went flaccid. You bought a 10-pound. We usually buy 90-10, but I feel like you should have to come into the chat and clear this up. I wonder if I send you the link, if you could pop up and explain what you're buying, because it's really insane. What are you doing with all this ground beef? I just texted you. I wonder if you can click on that and explain yourself. Kim Nyborg in Iowa. She calls in radio shows. She'll call into my YouTube right now. What are you doing? We usually buy 90-10, but that was 70. What are you doing with all of this ground beef? What are you making? Family of 4, okay. Are you feeding others? I gotta know now. Like, I don't care about Epstein or Gaza or inflation. I just, she says she's driving. Okay. Yeah. All right. I was answering Julia. I'm at the house. All right, guys. I'll talk to you later at the hang. Oh, wait. Here's Kim. Hold on. Yeah. Julia. Hi.
Guy of come in and help you.
Okay. Go ahead. Explain what you buy and why.
Yeah. I'll break all the Iowa laws to come in and talk to you.
Okay. Thank you. Don't get in trouble. What do you buy? What are you buying? What meat are you buying and why?
Let me turn this down so it's not echoing for you.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
We buy 10-pound tubes. We break them up into 1 pound and come in, and that's how we eat for like months. We freeze them and then we use them.
So you buy 10 pounds of meat and you take a pound and then you take a pound at a time and then you freeze it back up.
And then we buy it thawed and then we freeze it.
Either
and
you're
then
doing
we use
something,
it. So like we make spaghetti, we make chili, hamburgers,
you,
and make whatever
you,
we need. Don't you
you're
do
doing
that?
something. No, I don't. But I don't do anything. So either we all need to be doing this, or we need to ridicule you for it. But I think, where do you get it at a bulk store?
I'll expect the ridicule.
Do you get it at a bulk store?
Well, we buy it at just like a local grocery store.
Oh my God! Wow. All right. I also love watching Iowa go by. All right, Kim. I'd like to do a deeper dive on this, and I need to know more about your meat purchases and how you're purchasing them, and then what you're making with it. So we'll follow up.
Yeah, obviously the habits of the night work family, the dinner habits are the highlight of everybody's news feed right now.
No, they are for me. This is the most important type of mundane right now. All right, I'm kicking you out because I'm.
Have a great day.
Thank
Love you guys.
you.
I miss you so much.
I thank you. We miss you.